Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.
Sprint Ride Option Podcast. We are live. It's a new episode of the Sprint Ride Option Podcast, everybody's favorite 49er based podcast. I am Andrew Pasquini, as always, joined by the one, the only, I want to be him when I grow up, Jason Aponte. Jason, how are you doing on this lovely, it's Monday, on this lovely Monday evening / afternoon?
Great. Enjoying my Yankees. They're in the division series. Oh, wait, they're not. Yeah, so that's that. I forgot about that. So that's cool.
You didn't touch on it. I didn't want to say anything about it on Friday, so I'm happy you addressed it right away. But we're not here to talk about baseball. We're here to talk about our favorite football team, the San Francisco 49ers, who fall to 2-3 on the season against the Arizona Cardinals, losing yesterday 17-10. And I know last week I opened up with, hey, Jason, should I put the panic button away? I'm not even thinking about taking it out after yesterday. I don't know why. I don't know why I felt fine with the loss yesterday. It was the best way to describe it, and I feel like I described too many games like this with, it was a football game. I don't know how I felt about it. I didn't feel negative or positive either way. I think there is some things to feel not great about, but I think there's things to feel fine about. Is that the feeling you have as well, or am I the only one there?
I did until I found out that Trey Lance is injured.
Yeah, that's something we can talk about here in a bit. We'll talk about the game before we get into that. Or do you want to start with that? Do we want to start with the sad news?
Yeah, I mean, let's just get it out of the way.
Let's start with the sad news. Trey Lance is dealing with, I believe, what was it, a sprained knee? Is that what we called it? Shanahan announced that in his press conference today. Sounds like he's at bare minimum questionable for the Indianapolis game. What that means, I don't know. Just because if we're taking Kyle Shanahan's word at what it is Jimmy was going to be the starter against Indianapolis in week 7. It's a bummer, man. I'm tired of talking about injured quarterbacks. I like, if there was a theme of what the Sprint Ride Option podcast has been this last year, it's just been a bunch of conversations about what are they going to do at the quarterback position because the quarterback is injured. Hopefully, because now we're at a point where it's like, okay, Trey Lance played fine yesterday. I think he showed a lot of good, showed some bad. Maybe he did enough to convince Shanahan this was the choice. And now we're back to, hoping the Jimmy Garoppolo injury isn't that serious, because if it is, and Trey Lance's injury keeps him out, we're going to spend next week talking about Nate Sudfeld. And nothing against Nate Sudfeld. It's just when there's a roster with Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance, I'd rather be talking about those two. It sucks. Like just the short of it, it sucks that this keeps happening.
Yeah. As you touched on, I really enjoyed watching Trey Lance yesterday. Of course, you can, pick apart whatever it is that you don't like, but there were so many things that I did like. I loved how hard the kid fought. I actually loved how he continued to move the ball. Some of the play calling was a little bit questionable in terms of why wasn't the ball handed off more times to Elijah Mitchell, who was the guy on the field the most. I mean, we raved and raved about what this running game would look like, and literally the running game turned into Trey Lance running the ball more times than Elijah Mitchell. Not great, Bob. So this falls on a person that I love dearly, but also I believe deserves a lot of criticism at this point, and I have a lot of questions. And really today at the press conference, I got even a little bit more upset. So if I sound like I'm a little bit standoffish right now, it's from this quote right here. I even joked with Jimmy saying you're going to have some company in rehab with Trey so you guys can both be here next week. Not funny at all, Kyle Shanahan. Nothing funny about that. And I don't even think that was anywhere near being funny. I am starting to get more nervous that there is no plan. Things are not in any way making sense in my mind. I don't even see a semblance of what's supposed to be going on. And yes, this is a rant, so let's just get to it. I don't see a semblance of what's going on. I don't see a plan. I don't see anything right now. What I saw a kid playing his heart out, backyard football, with very little help from his offensive line and very little help from his guru head coach. I'll leave it at that. We'll get into more when we talk more about the game. But Daniel Brunskill, Alex Mack, Mike McGlinchey, you were terrible in this game.
Yeah.
Terrible. All three of you. Terrible. Kyle Shanahan, why are you running him into the ground like that? Why are you not handing the ball out to Elijah Mitchell?
Yeah.
Why are you not getting him easier throws right off the bat? I don't understand. And for all of that, the kid nearly won the game.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to be encouraged about. When everything was going wrong, he was playing well. And that's the thing that you really need to look at. I walked away encouraged, but with more questions and more anger now that I heard this press conference today.
Well, I think there was still a decent amount of questions because you mention how, fine Trey Lance played. And I know Trey Lance didn't have the best game yesterday, but this felt like the first time this season that you felt like the Niners offense could get down the field, move down the field and get themselves in positions to score. It just, unfortunately, they only found the end zone once, which is a bummer. They got down to the 1 yard line on one of the drives, fell just short on a 4th down play, which another thing, man, I feel like there's so much take and give with this game that take it. You take Kyle Shanahan going for it on 4th down 5 times, but you give the what are the play calls on half of them? He called the quarterback power play twice, which just didn't really work because it wasn't working. He calls the Kyle Juszczyk in motion play for the quarterback sneak, which is a play
that already.
Which is a play I like. That's a play that's fun. But A, you've already put it on tape, and B, you put it on tape 2 weeks ago. It's fresh in everybody's mind. This isn't a thing that if you run it in week 3, go run it in week 17 or week 18 when you need a first down because it's so far away. But for it to be the call in that situation 2 weeks after they called it, it's what is he? I just the quote that came up I saw on the timeline today was, you remember when he said, yeah, man, I had that. The report came. If Kyle said it? I don't remember if Kyle said it, but the report came out that it was, hey, I was talking with Justin Fields, but I was really thinking about plays I could draw up with Trey Lance. That's what we drew up for Trey Lance. What we saw yesterday, that's what we drew up. There felt like there was no imagination to the run plays they were running with Lance. They were just straight keepers into the line, and some of them worked, some of them didn't. And it's not, because I see some people on the timeline bringing up Kyle Shanahan's on the hot seat. No, he's not.
But he deserves a lot of criticism.
There's a lot of questioning going. Yes, it's questions and what's going on, because if he's the offensive guru we like to say he is, because we're a very pro Kyle Shanahan podcast, why did they only score 10 points yesterday? And why on half of your 4th down conversions you ran the same play twice, and you ran a play that you ran just 2 weeks ago? That's where the questions come in. And then my other thing is looking at the box score, it feels like it's a little bit of a lie, because it doesn't feel like they targeted Deebo Samuel 9 times, and it didn't feel like they targeted Brandon Aiyuk 4 times. It felt like they targeted Mohamed Sanu and Travis Benjamin, which, nothing against Travis Benjamin and Mohamed Sanu, nothing at all. It's just, you have a 1st-round receiver and a 2nd-round receiver, and I feel like the offense was ran around Sanu and Benjamin more, and obviously the box score doesn't say that. I just a lot of questions that we're probably never going to get the answers for. Why didn't they use Elijah Mitchell more? Kyle Shanahan, I mention it so many times on this podcast that he can get my dad 4 yards a carry, but does he realize that when you have a mobile quarterback, you can still use your running backs? I feel like this game had more positives than what we're leading on to, but the more I think about it now, I don't know. I really don't know about yesterday and just what the offense was. What happened to Trent Sherfield? What happened to him? I'm just so confused. Jason, now you got me fired up, because I was going to try and come in here and be like, hey man, it wasn't that bad. And now you're bringing up these points. I'm just You're right, Jason. What was there yesterday that
I'm
we?
not done. Wait, I'm letting you
Oh my
finish.
God, he's not done. Let's
I'm
go.
not
Here we
done.
go.
I'm not done.
Let's heat him up.
This Brandon Ayuk thing is funky. It does not smell right, and no one is saying anything that makes any sense. Brandon Ayuk played 77% of the snaps yesterday. I feel like he was on the field for 7 snaps. I swear, I never saw him, and he caught 2 passes that were 2 of the nicest catches, right? All camp, Trent Sherfield balled out. All Kyle Shanahan said was Trent Sherfield is outplaying Brandon Ayuk. Where's Trent Sherfield then?
Yep.
He's not on the field either. It's Mohamed Sanu, and it's not even, and it's Travis Benjamin, who was brought up and should have just been a punt returner. That's all you're bringing Travis Benjamin up for, okay? This Brandon Ayuk thing stinks. It stinks to high heaven because no one can make any sense of any of it. Not what he says and not with what he does. If Trent Sherfield was outplaying Brandon Ayuk, Trent Sherfield needs to be on the field. He's not there. Why? Who? Okay. How many times are we going to come in here and talk about penalties? I'm tired of it. I am tired of it. I don't want to hear about penalties that were not called on the 49ers. That's not the 49ers' business.
No.
The 49ers got called for penalties because they were sloppy. That right side of the offensive line was holding all day because J.J. Watt was working them. But it goes discipline. Where's the discipline? Where's the execution? This team is sleepwalking in games that they should be winning. And that all falls on the coach. That all falls on the coach. None of what happened yesterday makes any sense. And when I watched it again on the All-22, it made less sense. Less sense. Absolute less sense. Yeah. I don't understand it. There is no plan. The kid did everything he could. I'm more encouraged with his moxie. The kid's helmet gets knocked off. He continues to run. He tries to score on that touchdown right there. Doesn't get in. I am not going to kill a 21-year-old rookie in his first game who played like that, who went toe-for-toe with Kyler Murray. The 49ers outscored them. I mean, gained them. I'm sorry. Obviously, didn't outscore them. Outgained them. And if you looked at the box score, you would have said, hey, the 49ers had a shot in this game. They actually got a turnover. But what is happening with this personnel grouping? Travis Benjamin is, at best, your 7th best receiver. I don't want to see him on the field. He better just be getting punts. Brandon Aiyuk needs to play more. You need to involve him more. And for all those times that you get other guys open and get them the ball, why can't you do the same thing for Brandon Aiyuk? Because he didn't even have separation on the 2 throws that he caught. But he caught one with his left arm while being held, and then he snatches another one on the sideline, a dart, for a huge conversion. Yeah. Please make it make sense for me. None of what is being said about Brandon Aiyuk, none of what is being said about Trey Lance and what they went into this game plan makes any sense. None of it. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm fed up. This one is really upsetting because they should have won this game. The Arizona Cardinals came into this game scoring 35 points a game. They scored 17, and for many points in that game, they couldn't move the ball. Many points. The 49ers moved the ball up and down the field and lost. Who does that fall on? Does not fall on the coach. It does not fall on the kid. It's the coach. Shanahan, I don't want you out of here. You're not in a hot seat, but you are not above reproach. It's time for you now to answer questions. Stop acting like you're bigger than it. And then to make that joke today.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Trey and Jimmy, I made a joke. It's not funny. There's nothing funny about that. Is that your attempt at humor? It's almost like Kyle Shanahan's a robot sometimes. Keep going. I got more. You bring up another point and I'll keep going.
When I predicted the final score to be, I forget what I said, 28-20, I fully expected to come in today and be like, yeah, the Niners played a fine game. It's just the Cardinals are better right now. It is what it is. That narrative doesn't exist because the Cardinals didn't outplay the Niners. The Niners just underplayed the Cardinals. That's just what it is, right? Because I'm gonna let Jason yell more because I like this, and later on we'll talk about the positives of what D'Amico Ryans did with the defense yesterday because I think there's a lot of positives there. But
D'Amico Ryans was the best coach on the field yesterday.
Yes, he was very much so, to a point where spoiler alert, he's gonna be my number 1 star because the way the Cardinals came out yesterday, it felt like a blowout on the offensive side. That first drive, Arizona just kind of did what they wanted, and then the Niners locked in, and it was good. But I mainly just want to focus on the offensive right now because that's where this issue comes into play. Is this was such a damn winnable game. This was such a winnable game, and it just at the same time it wasn't because of what the offense was. Yes, the right side of the line was bad, and this is the first time we've yelled at Mike McGlinchey because it wasn't a good game. And some of those holding calls, yes, Travis Benjamin got called for one that I just don't think they were ready for a mobile quarterback, which comes into question of what they were doing the past week in practice, because they knew Trey Lance was the starter most of the week. I know they were holding out hope for Garoppolo, but it was kind of a poorly kept secret that Trey Lance was starting this week. So what are they doing? Because a lot of those holdings where they just didn't know how to handle a mobile quarterback who could extend plays. It's just, it was a mind-boggling game, and the Niners. I was hoping that we would come in and talk. Obviously, I was hoping we'd come in and talk about a Niners win. But if it was going to be a loss, I was hoping it would be a loss where we can say, "Hey, the Niners just got beat. They played a damn good game, but the Niners lost yesterday more than the Cardinals won." And I think that's what is the biggest bummer in this case is the Niners straight up lost that game. And they lost it because of the person that we have been most consistently like, just wait until this guy gets a playmaker at quarterback. Just wait until this guy gets a quarterback. And it didn't happen.
Look, and here's the thing, right? Like, all right, let me settle in. Here's the thing, right? When you have two different styles of quarterback, the offensive line plays differently. Let me explain. Yes. When Jimmy Garoppolo was there's no threat of him ever running and moving. And if he actually had to play in this game, he would have been a sitting duck. There would have been 10 to 12 sacks in this game, hands down, okay? He would have been having to get the ball out in 2 seconds. Trey Lance I was impressed with his pocket maneuvering. I was impressed with how he avoided sacks and made something out of nothing. That is but here's the problem. First play of the game. There are 5 offensive linemen. There are 5 defensive linemen. You cannot get that blocked up. Alex Mack, where is the call? Move McGlinchey over. Chandler Jones is rushing straight for Trey Lance. And on the first play of this young man's life, has to run for his life. And guess what he does? He turns it into 14. Trey Lance did nothing in this game to make me think. And also, by the way, Trey Lance needs to keep starting. If he's healthy enough to go against the Colts, I don't care if they're both healthy. Let's go. Rip the Band-Aid off, because guess what? This team is not a Super Bowl contending team, period. Yeah. So start the development. Stop messing around. That's it. If Trey's ready to go next week, you put Trey in. He's going. That's it. Yeah. Don't mess around anymore, because then I'm going to get even more upset, because now you are stunting the growth of the kid in the face of a team that is not going to win the Super Bowl. Yeah. Will not. And if they do, fine. I'll eat all the crow in the world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're very pro Niners winning the Super Bowl here. Like we're all in on that.
But get the development rolling. And what were you doing this entire week? Did you literally practice with him? This is scripted, right? This is a script. The first drive is a script. What did you practice? Quarterback power every single time? Dude, in training camp, he's zone reading, and he's reading the defenders, and he's on the outside running, and he's got grass in front of him. Why would you make this kid pound his head into the line and do it to the right side where J.J. Watt is absolutely mauling this line? J.J. Watt looked like J.J. Watt from 2012, and that man is not in the Arizona Cardinals building, and that's no slight at him. It's less about what he did and more about how bad Brunskill, McGlinchey, and Mack was. All 3 of them. And Mac, I have a problem with you, because you were brought in to be the guy who slides the protection, knows where everything is going. You know this offense in and out. What is happening? Why is there no accountability? Why does that nobody seem to know what they're doing? Why is there no personnel grouping that makes sense in this world? Why is Travis Benjamin out there with Mohamed Sanu? I don't understand. These are questions that you're never going to get the answer to. Yeah. But when you look at this game again, it gets even more frustrating because the game was there for the taking. Yes. Because the Cardinals, Kyler Murray was stymied. Eric Armstead balled out in this game. That defensive line was incredible. They did an amazing job. DeMeco Ryans, absolute amazing job. And if I would have told you that Kyler Murray would have had his worst game of the season so far in this game, and they would only have 17 points, you would have said, how much did the 49ers win by?
Yeah.
Let's take this donation. Tony, I'm sorry, buddy.
Tony, we appreciate you.
Kyle Shanahan's so disappointing, but 2-3 is not out of it. Teams can still rally behind Trey Lance and get hot. Late roster is still good. This can be a playoff team.
We're not.
For
Yeah,
sure.
we're not saying the Niners are out of it. There's a difference between being a playoff team and a Super Bowl caliber team. The Baltimore Ravens are a playoff team, but they're not a Super Bowl team, right?
Right.
We're not trying to say the season's over because we're not.
No.
I haven't even pulled out my panic button yet. My figurative panic button. That's not even out yet. It's just, and the point I wanted to make as well, and before the injury news came out, because obviously that sucks, is we can keep pretending that, and this isn't even a knock at Jimmy Garoppolo. We can keep pretending that Jimmy Garoppolo is the best option to get this team to win games, which he sure as hell might be. Who knows? We've only seen one start from Trey Lance. Or we can progress this quarterback that the 49ers spent 2 first-round picks to get, trade up and get, and see what happens. And if yesterday was indicative of seeing what happens I sure as hell want to see what happens against the Colts. And I sure as hell want to see what happens the week after that and the week after that and get Trey Lance these valuable snaps. Because yes, they scored, like it's as I said earlier, it's so weird to say they scored 10 points yesterday, yet I felt like the offense was moving the ball fine. They had no problem moving the ball.
They punted one time.
And yeah, I know they went for it 5 times on 4th down. I get it, but they punted one time. And I don't know if them going for it on 4th down 5 times yesterday was indicative of Kyle Shanahan being aggressive, was indicative of him not trusting Joey Sly to be the field goal kicker, or if it was indicative of him saying, hey, I have this weapon that I can use, and I'm not afraid to try and get 4 yards on this 4th down attempt because I got he called on 3rd and 7. He had 2 separate 3rd and 7 situations where he called quarterback runs because he said, you know what, regardless of what happens here, I'm going for it on this 4th down. And that's what we want to see from Kyle Shanahan, because we saw in the Green Bay game, him not going for a 4th and 2. And we saw him not being aggressive last week. And now we're seeing the aggressiveness. Now let's just see the aggressiveness in this hand, the play calling in this hand, and it coming together and working. Because for some reason, when Trey Lance has been in, the play calling's not there. He finally gets a player, as I said on Friday, 11 on 11 football, and now the play calling is weird. And we're not saying Kyle Shanahan's on the hot seat. That we're the furthest thing away from saying he's on the hot seat. We're just questioning it. That's all.
And I'm upset. So,
and Jason's upset.
I'm upset with Kyle Shanahan. Okay, I am. Especially when, listen to me, a rookie defensive coordinator has unlocked how to stop Kyler Murray. Of course, it helps when you got dogs up there on the defensive line. Yes. But if you would have told me that DeMeco Ryans would be light years ahead of Kyle Shanahan this season in his coaching, we have a problem.
Yeah.
We have a problem. But no one can get the answer from him. The Brandon Aiyuk thing stinks. It does not make sense. No one will make that make sense for me. I don't want to hear about he needs to do this, do that. He's better than Trent Sherfield, Mohamed Sanu, Travis Benjamin, Jalen Hurd. Get your best players on the field and get them the ball. Stop messing around. Trey Lance, why have you put this kid in a spot where he had to run for his life all game? Yeah. If you see the right side cannot pass protect, why? Do other things. Do something different. Your in-game adjustments are not going well this year. Kyle Shanahan has been underwhelming 5 games in, the most disappointing part of this season so far. And I can say that wholeheartedly and still not want him fired. Though that was a fair assessment that I just gave, and while still speaking my mind and saying that I don't want him gone. But something is wrong. This team is floating through these games. I don't understand decision-making. I don't understand a plan. There is no semblance of a plan. Usually you can point to a few things and say, okay, this is what he's thinking. I have no idea what this man is thinking, not in a good way. Not in a way that it's just like, oh, he's cooking something up. I have no idea what he's doing. Other coaches, if this was Matt Nagy, Chicago would have pinned him to the post and sent him off.
Yeah.
And let me say one more thing too. Head coaches go through spurts where they aren't good play callers. Andy Reid, and here's what I'm going to point to. Andy Reid, the year before Kareem Hunt, unfortunately everything happened with him. When he was a rookie, Kareem Hunt was rolling the first few weeks, right? All of a sudden, the offense became stagnant. Andy Reid turned the play calling over to a young man named Matt Nagy. Guess what Matt Nagy did? He got that offense rolling again. I'm not saying that Kyle Shanahan needs to give up the play calling duties, and he doesn't have anybody on this team that I would even trust with it. But coaches go through these lapses. Yeah. Andy Reid's the best play designer in the league, and he went through these lapses. It happens. The problem is Andy Reid has a far longer track record of continuing and winning games and being a good head coach. I'm concerned. I'm not panicked. I'm just angry, and I'm very much concerned. Yeah. I don't see the vision here. I do not, especially if both guys are healthy going into this Colts game, and you say, I'm starting Jimmy Garoppolo in this game. I have no idea what he's thinking at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't honestly, Jason, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't even know how to follow that up because you hit you hit all the points. Like there's nothing to be sorry about there. You hit all the points, and it's just, man. I mean, you mentioned Matt Nagy, and he won a game with his rookie quarterback yesterday. And
okay, perfect. Thank you for that.
Set him off. Here we go.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
It's really funny because Matt Nagy turned his play calling over to Bill Lazor. And you know what Bill Lazor did to help his rookie quarterback out in an away game? He ran the ball 34 times with a running back.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is Elijah Mitchell. Like it almost felt like with a lot of Elijah Mitchell's runs, he had room to run. He averaged, oh God, I'm not good at math this fast. 5 yards a carry roughly. I think that's the math. I don't know. 9 carries for 43 yards. I'm tired and can't do that math in my head. It's pretty much 5 yards a carry. And they ran with him 9 times. Kyle Shanahan. Trey Lance had more carries than the rest of the 49ers combined.
No.
You can't do that.
Absolutely
you
not.
cannot do that to a rookie quarterback.
Absolutely not.
You know what? Honestly, I'm going to go as far to say you can't do that with a quarterback.
I mean, look, Lamar does it, but that's because Lamar has learned how to navigate it. And for all the people saying about, well, they'll figure it out, haven't figured it out yet. It's year 4. This is the year that they're going to finally figure out Lamar Jackson. He's just different. The point is, in this first game, Bill Lazor knew exactly what to do with Justin Fields. He didn't overload his plate and put everything on him. He ran the ball a ton of times with Damian Williams and Khalil Herbert, and that's smart. You know why? Because Justin Fields is starting in his second game. He's a rookie. Trey Lance is starting in his first game. Help the kid out. Whoa. Please help the kid out. And especially with that zone read, Elijah Mitchell would have had so many good runs to run through, because those lanes open up. The defense yesterday, Buda Baker after the game, he said, man, that kid played. It would have looked completely different if Jimmy Garoppolo played.
Oh, we're talking about, I can't say a blowout because the defense played very well. We're talking about a totally different game if Jimmy Garoppolo is the starter yesterday. That's just what, like, we might be talking about a 17-0 score. Like, because Arizona's defense played well. Like that's the thing, is Arizona's defense was not bad. It played very well. And Trey Lance struggled to move the ball up the field, but also made it like, I don't know how to talk about this game because like we're talking about all these struggles, but the offense moved the ball fine. They had more total yards, than the Cardinals yesterday. And
more turnover. They won the turnover battle for the first time.
They tied it. 1-1.
They tied it. Right. The first time, yeah. All right, 1-1. Yeah. All right, my bad. I forgot about the interception. See, I'm all yelling and I'm forgetting.
But the thing is too, it's like the interception. It wasn't a great interception, but it wasn't a bad interception because he's fired up. He just overshot Travis Benjamin, which is
his arm slot went down. The ball just sailed. Like you could see it. His arm dropped, and that was it. And look, that's fixable. And that was nothing that I said, oh my God, you got to get him out of there. I said, hey, that's what we saw in training camp. That's what we saw in the preseason. He was missing high. That was his thing. And it's not going to get fixed in one game, right? Oh. But another thing, every time he did that in training camp, the kid went right back and kept firing. That's exactly what he did in this game. There's so many things to be happy about when it comes to Trey Lance. which is why I find it even baffling that there's some sort of conversation to go back to Jimmy Garoppolo. I really don't understand it. Because the kid already showed you in a tough division game, he went toe to toe with the guy who was up there to be an MVP, and he did what he did with a poor game plan. Let's just put it out there, a poor game plan,
Yes.
and still made. He still made tomato soup out of lemonades or whatever, or lemons or whatever. I'm just like,
Yes.
it's the kid can do things when things aren't perfect. Jimmy Garoppolo needs everything to be perfect for him to succeed. Everything. And Trey Lance doesn't. And that's what I learned in game one.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to summarize it, put a bow on it, and put it under the Christmas tree is Trey Lance kept the Niners in that game.
And yes, and also DeMeco Ryans, thank you. You overcame Josh Norman's penalties. That air raid was not listen. It is so crazy to me how the Cardinals even get yards. These passes from Kyler Murray, I don't know how many other quarterbacks can actually make these passes. That throw to Rondale Moore, that was actually a completion. I have no idea how that was completed. Again, Kyler Murray is different. And even though he had a struggle in this game, he continued to show you why he's one of the better quarterbacks in this league. And Cliff Kingsbury's a fraud.
We have to throw that one in because we are an anti-Cliff Kingsbury podcast. And
I don't want anybody getting it twisted. If I'm talking bad about Coach, I'm still not going to talk up Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, we got to.
He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything in this game to change what I thought.
No, not at all. And I think
John Gruden just resigned.
John Gruden just resigned as the Raiders head coach.
Whoa.
Okay then.
There goes that. Anyway.
There goes that. Anyways, this is now a Raiders podcast. No, we just got that text at the exact same time. Well, we'll breathe for a second because I do want to talk about DeMeco Ryans.
Yes.
Hell of a game.
Oh my God.
Hell of a game. And I want to go as far as, can the Niners defense handle mobile quarterbacks now? Because Russell Wilson didn't particularly have the best game last week. Jalen Hurts didn't look great. And I mean, it was such an ominous start yesterday because I'm trying to find the drive log. My brain's not working. Arizona moves down the field in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plays. They score a touchdown. They kind of just move the ball at will. They started with the ball at their own 34-yard line. And that's pretty much all they did. DeMeco Ryans put together a game plan that was, I don't know, man. This feels like the first time I feel very positive that the San Francisco 49ers, at least in the past couple of years, can stop a mobile quarterback. And DeMeco Ryans is doing something right. And Jason, I'm not, as I've said plenty of times, I'm not the football brain of this. I'm not the X's and O's guy of this podcast. Something he did worked, and something he is doing is working. And people want to talk about this defense like it's not going to be as good. But like you look at last week, yeah, they gave up 28 points, but they allowed -8 yards through the first quarter and a half. Like, what is he supposed to do? Like, DeMeco Ryans got a defense that held the Seahawks offense to -8 yards in the first quarter and a half of a game, and the offense could only muster together a 7-0 lead in that time. Same thing yesterday. The Niners outgained maybe the best offense in the NFL right now. They hold Kyler Murray to his fewest yards this season, and it's not even particularly close. Last week against the Rams, he had 268 total yards. Yesterday, he had 239 passing yards. He had 7 carries for 1 singular yard. DeMeco Ryans, while we talk about with the secondary issues, because that's a whole other issue that we have 2 weeks to talk about because of the bye, they made Kyler Murray look like a not MVP candidate yesterday. And Kyler Murray did MVP things yesterday because he's very good, but DeMeco Ryans did something and it worked. And the Eric Armstead balled out. Nick Bosa, I think, had 2 sacks yesterday.
Yeah.
Something worked, man. And DeMeco Ryans deserves all the credit in the world.
Yeah, thanks for the donation, Jason. So why is Kyle regressing so badly? This is so frustrating. Excuse my French, but something is going on behind the scenes. Something is way off. Jason, I am you. You are me. You are all of us. We have
Yeah.
no idea. Something is wrong. Something is, again, the Brandon Ayuk thing stinks. That bothers me more than anything. That awful joke today about Jimmy and Trey were rehabbing together, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are gonna be hanging out together." Not funny. The play calling, the execution, it's all bad right now. And I don't know. I have no answer for this one. I really don't have an answer for this one.
Can I throw an uneducated theory? Yeah, I'm not even. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not going
No.
there. Not going there.
Do you want me to get you? Do you want? This is the biggest head scratcher probably in this game.
Yeah.
Here's a drive, and let me explain to you real quick. 10 plays, 7 minutes, 27 seconds, 18 yards.
That was a drive with like 7 penalties, right?
Execution, discipline goes to the coach. Why? 10 plays, 18 yards, 7 minutes off the clock. I don't get it. I don't get it. I have no idea. Again, we got the film today this morning. I watched it and I got even more mad. And look, let's go back to DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson, and now Kyler Murray in 3 straight weeks. Impressive. And I am old enough to remember people saying that they wanted DeMeco Ryans to get lost or his play calling. Nope. Did you ever think that Aaron Rodgers is really just good? I mean, he threw a ball over Fred Warner's head that literally only one other quarterback could have ever thrown. Yeah, he was great. Eric Armstead was great. Eric Armstead was everywhere. But you know what's funny? Just for as many times as Eric Armstead plays well, is you never hear about that until you think that he didn't play well, or until we're arguing about made up pressures by a certain group of people. They had a great plan. They executed it very well. I felt like the 49ers were going to be stretched out. And this is what we talked about in the preview, right? With this air raid, you have to have more defensive backs on the field. So for people asking, why is Dante Johnson on the field? Dante Johnson's on the field because he's one of the 4 or 5 people that they trust. Also, because this is not DeMeco Ryans' call.
No.
Where is Demo Lenore?
Yep, that's where I was going to go, because I feel like the question should be flipped, not why is it so much Dante Johnson, who, by the way, had a very big play in that game.
A
huge play. Had the potential to totally turn the tide for the Niners. Where's Diamador Lenore? Where is he? Like should we Jason, do we want to put it on a milk carton? Do we want to pay the money to put the missing person on the milk carton? What's going on?
Decisions, I don't understand it.
No.
The kid played so well. And for him, when you're facing this type of offense where how on earth did we let Rondale Moore get with DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray? I'll never understand this one. But you put your best guys out there. Not the guys that you know, not your buddy that was been on the team for 12 years. Sin, thank you for the donation. I'm sorry. Great pot as always. Is Kyle experiencing burnout? I don't know what it is. I'm not going to speculate as to whether he's mailing it in or anything like that. I just know this. Things aren't going right. He's not doing the job that I think he can do. Again, not asking for him to be replaced.
No.
But I am frustrated. I'm frustrated right now. I don't understand this game. This game is maddening.
Like genuinely, I want to ask the comment section this, because I've seen a few people, and I don't know if they're still here. If they're still here, great. I'm happy you're here. I feel a few people are saying, hey, fire Shanahan. We need a new head coach. Trade him to the Raiders, whatever. Who's the replacement? Like simple answer. You have half the answer in your head. Who's the replacement for Kyle Shanahan? Answer that question. Chip Kelly? You want to call Chip Kelly again? We want to go back to those years? There is no answer better than what the Niners have right now in Kyle Shanahan. That just because we are questioning the decisions yesterday doesn't mean we're calling for his head. Yes, people want to talk about his win-loss record. See the Bills offensive coordinator. Okay, wasn't he, obviously things change year to year. Nobody hired him this offseason. Nobody hired, I believe it's Dable. I believe that's what his name is.
Brian
I'm
Dabble.
not
Yeah.
Brian Dabble. Like, nobody hired him. Yeah, Brad Elevate D'Amico. Yeah, that could be an option. Sure, we could. It's just it's Benemy for the Chiefs. I think he's going to USC. I think that's his spot. That's my uneducated guess. That yes, there might be names out there that are better, but Kellen Moore, sure, okay. Throwing names
that
out.
Dallas offense is humming right now.
That Dallas offense is humming. But counterpoint to that, would it be humming with what? I can't even ask that question properly because I don't think Kellen Moore would be rolling out Travis Benjamin and Mohamed Sanu when he has Brandon Aiyuk. Yeah, sure, those names are great, but I like maybe I'm just biased. I would still take Kyle Shanahan over all those guys.
Dallas played the Bucks, the Chargers. There's another team, like the three best teams in the league, probably. Oh, Carolina's really good too. I don't know. Dallas, I mean, I know we hate Dallas over here, but I don't know that they haven't played anybody. I think that they've kind of showed they ran up and down the field on the Bucks, and the Panthers defense is no joke.
I love Zach's answer here just because it's so out of left field. I haven't thought John Lynch, the head coach, and Peters, the G. Probably not. I like thinking outside of the box. That's all I'm going to say there. Jason, let's go to 3 stars. Can we go to 3 stars?
Let's do 3 stars.
Let's do 3 stars because the Giants have a baseball game here in half an hour that I got to mentally prepare for.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't usually get that fired up, and it's probably made for a terrible podcast episode. But
honestly, I was going to text you after and say I love this episode because we're addressing things, but like these are the big questions today, right? These are the big questions of like what the game plan was, and the thing is, like, I wanted to spin it positively at the very end and say, well, hey, they got 2 weeks with Trey Lance. Let's see what Shanahan can cook with 2 weeks now, and now they don't even have that. They don't even have that. So 3 stars. I'm going to go Dante Johnson just for the forced fumble. I know he wasn't great in coverage. I know he had a few, missed coverage, whatever, but that defensive play, man, was it had the potential to flip the game. It really did. And the Niners needed a big play defensively, and Dante Johnson gave it to them. So just for that, I like to give the 3rd star for a player who makes a big play, and Dante Johnson maybe made the biggest play of the game for the Niners yesterday. So I'm going to give it to Dante Johnson.
Yep. I'm with you. Arik Armstead is my 3rd star. I mean, being held in the end zone, that was a safety. That's another thing to be frustrated about, but that's something else that I'll yell about another day. I'm really trying to yell about the things that you can control, which is what is going on with the game plan, what's going on with the personnel groupings. That's all in Kyle Shanahan's hands. You can't make refs throw the flags. And I understand 49er fans know full well, how many calls get missed. But Arik Armstead was beasting yesterday. He was so good. And I just want to make sure that he gets a shout out because it feels like it's lost amidst all these other things that we're discussing today. This will show you. Go Blue, Dodgers are nothing.
Joke's on you. You donated money to me. No, I'm joking.
Nah.
Hey, you're allowed to have that. Hey, man, Dodgers have been very, very good this year. And
right.
Hey, man, if the Giants end up losing to a team that won 106 games, what can you do?
Yep.
Arik Armstead's my 2nd star for everything Jason Aponte just said.
There you go. Boom. And then I think we have the same 1st star, but my 2nd star is Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Again, I know this seems easy, but like I said, the game plan that he came in with, I don't like it. I still don't like it. I like it worse now that I've watched the game over again on all 22. He continued to fire. He continued to keep playing. He played his ass off, man, and everything was not perfect around him. As I said, Trey Lance showed that he can at least put you into the game when things are not perfect. Jimmy Garoppolo needs everything to be perfect for him to be successful in this offense. And Trey Lance showed you the reason that people were so enamored with his skills, making something out of nothing. Making it when it's a bad play call, guess what? I can overcome that. If it's a bad play call with Jimmy Garoppolo, it's a sack. It's a bad throw or something like that. And that's not a knock at him. It's just he doesn't have the
That's
same
just
skills.
what he is. Like I feel like we preface with Jimmy Garoppolo. That's not a knock at him. At some point, it's just what he is, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. He is the quarterback he is. There's nothing he can do about it. It's nothing the Sprint Right Option podcast can do about it. There's nothing 49ers Twitter can do about it. It's just he is who he is. He's fine when everything works, and when everything doesn't work, it's another problem. So what can you do?
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, very like they just it felt like they could move the ball. It felt like they could move the ball for the first time most of the season. That's really what it comes down to.
Right.
Number one star, D'Amico Ryans. Oh my God.
Ryans.
He balled out yesterday. Absolutely solid game plan. He made Kyler Murray look like not an MVP candidate. Like, what else can you say? Kyler Murray has cooked all year. As I said in the preview episode, through 4 games, which is way too early to talk about MVP, Kyler Murray's probably my MVP. And he didn't look that much yesterday. I know he had the 1 touchdown. I know he had 240 yards, whatever it is. 7 carries, 1 yard. How many times do we go back and look at those box scores in the past? How many times did Robert Saleh hold a mobile quarterback to 7 carries and 1 yard? I guarantee you it's 0. I don't even have to look at it, because the reason we talk about the Niners offensive or defensive struggles against mobile quarterbacks is because Robert Saleh had issues with them. Like we love Robert Saleh here. We hope he's successful with the Jets. But he had issues with mobile quarterbacks, and D'Amico Ryans has shown he has not. So D'Amico Ryans number 1 star, and I don't even think it's close.
No, it's not close at all. But thank God we have a week off. And I'm not saying the 49ers. I mean us, for my sanity. And this week is going to be horrific with these press conferences and the Jimmy talk and who it's going to be. I'm already dreading these answers because I know that they're going to send me through the roof with how annoying the answer is going to be. This one's frustrating because they should have won this game. They should have won this game.
This is such a winnable game. And as you said earlier, if you told me Arizona would score 17 points, I would say, oh my God, how much did the Niners win by? And they scored 10. They scored 10 with an offensive genius.
And D'Amico Ryans out there calling the game of his life with Dante Johnson, Josh Norman, and oh my goodness, man!
Listen, I know Josh Norman got beat quite. His pass interferences, man, like they're not the worst. Say something that's a positive on what he did yesterday. Like,
we're gonna have to say something positive back.
Not yet. No, we're too early. Still a little too early.
Okay, wait. All right. Personnel decisions. Where's Trey Sermon? Does he play? Look, I like Elijah Mitchell too. I like Elijah Mitchell too. The end of the third quarter, Trey Sermon gets his first snap. Do you understand that Trey Lance, Trey Sermon, Aaron Banks, they were all brought here together for the same reason? Because they want to run the ball very well? What are we doing with this personnel grouping? What are we doing with these draft picks? The more I think about it, what's the plan?
Yeah.
What is the plan? Where is it? And I know we're not going to get any answers, but there's no semblance of a plan right now to develop Trey Lance, get these draft picks going, or give me rhyme or reason as to why you chose these people when you could have chosen. Ambry Thomas not active. Aaron Banks not active. Trey Sermon getting 2 snaps. This whole draft class is nothing right now.
Yeah.
Is absolutely nothing.
I don't understand. Hufanga made a good play yesterday.
Hufanga did. Yeah.
But even too, like we hardly see him.
Yeah, I mean, and he was, that was a really nice play too as well. But I would feel better about this loss if I could put my finger on 5 snaps. Yeah.
5 defensive snaps for Hufanga.
I would feel better about this loss if I could put my finger on what I think the 49ers are doing.
Exactly. 100%. Exactly. Well, Jason, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yes,
Um,
please.
I don't know what the plan is yet because we have a week before we have to do, or we have 2 weeks before we preview the Colts and Niners. Maybe we'll do a mailbag episode. Maybe
That would
we'll
be
do
cool.
a mailbag episode. Maybe Friday or Monday. I don't know, man. We'll see the plan. We'll just wing it, kind of like Shanahan did yesterday. Oof, that was mean. Probably shouldn't have ended like that. Anyways,
Yeah.
Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners and start Trey Lance.
Let's go Niners and Giants in 5 still. That hasn't changed.
Welcome everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.